What's happening, everyone? My name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we're checking out a brand new e-bike from Engwe. Now with Engwe we are typically used to seeing those fat tire e-bikes. Well, this one is very different. So this one is a commuter bike that has the frame made out of carbon fiber. So compared to most other e-bikes out there, this one is actually very light. So this one has a weight of about 16 kilos. There are two versions of this bike. So this one is the heavier one out of the two. But imagine for a second that you remove everything from the bike and you only have the frame itself. The frame itself has a weight of 1.28 kilos. So extremely light. So having a carbon fiber frame definitely makes a difference, mostly if you have to carry this up the stairs, if you want to put it in your car's trunk. So it is a very light bike for an e-bike. So this is called the Engwe MapFour N1. Alright, and we are starting with a super quick unboxing. So of course the bike comes in a fairly big box. The box is not that heavy because obviously the bike itself is not that heavy. And the installation process is fairly easy but a bit time consuming. So you're looking at about half an hour to 45 minutes till you get this ready and on the road. Alright, so the MapFour N1 here is designed to be a commuter bike, and of course that means that you're gonna be riding this bike in town. And that also means that the bike has to be completely street legal, and this bike, yes, is completely street legal. So the bike is powered by a 250 watt motor that's located in the rear wheel. There we also have a 7-gear Shimano shifting system. So if you don't wanna use the electric motor that we have there, you can actually ride this as a regular bike, and you're really not gonna notice the difference compared to a regular bicycle that's not an electric bicycle. So if you want to ride this as a regular bike, you definitely can. But for those times when you need a bit of help, this bike will be able to assist you whenever you're pedaling. So the bike is equipped with a torque sensor. So it basically feels just like a regular bike, but when you need a bit of assistance, will give you some assistance. So with a bike like this, even if you're riding uphill, whatever you're riding, basically you don't really have to put that much effort into pedaling because the bike will be able to assist you with those steeper hills, with those longer rides where you typically get tired. So it is a very easy bike to ride. The battery pack on this bike is also located in the frame here. If you don't really know what you're looking for, you wouldn't say that this is an electric bike because the battery pack is kind of hidden in the frame there, so you don't really see it. That battery pack is also removable, so you don't necessarily have to carry the bike upstairs with you. You can just remove the battery pack and charge it and then bring it back and put it back in the bike. That is a 10 amp hour battery pack, and this will give you up to 100 kilometers of range. Now, of course, that will depend on how heavy you are, on the weather, where you're riding, if you're riding a lot uphill, how much assistance you need. So it all really depends, but you can get up to 100 kilometers on one charge. So after riding for about a week and about 70 kilometers, I still had about 30% charge left. So you're not gonna have to charge this bike very often, but of course that will depend how much you ride, where you ride, and of course the weather. The road tires that come installed on this bike are also from a good brand. They also have really good grip, and the bike is also equipped with metal mudguards on the front and on the back, and I'm also happy to say that they don't actually make any noise whenever you're riding over uneven terrain. I know there are some e-bikes out there that do make a lot of noise when you're riding them. Well, that's not the case with this one. This one is very, very quiet whenever you're riding. The bike is also equipped with mechanical disc brakes on the front and of course on the back. These are 160 millimeter disc brakes, and the braking power from them is really good, but it does take a couple of days of riding till you bed those brakes in. So after a couple of days, the braking power does get better. And for a bike that has a 250 watt motor, I feel that this is kind of an appropriate brake setup. On the front and of course on the back, we also have lights. So the front light here is pretty bright at night, so you can clearly see the path ahead of you. And the front light is connected to the bike's electrical system. We also have a light on the back, but this is not actually connected to the bike's electrical system. So there is a battery inside there. So basically every time you move the the bike that will turn itself on. So that's something to keep in mind. Moving on to the handlebar. So first of all, the handlebar is kind of adjustable in height, kind of. I'm saying that because you can move it a bit lower or a bit higher. So it really depends how you want your riding position, but it does give you some flexibility. You don't necessarily have to be in the same position all the time. So if you want to be a bit more lean back, you can with this bike, because you can kind of adjust this lower or higher in a way. So you basically unscrew this and then you can kind of make the adjustment. The grips here don't seem to move. We have our brake levers here, we have our little bell here, we have our shifter right here, and on the left hand side we have the screen. Now the screen is fairly small, but you can see the screen even on a super bright day like today, and it will show you some information like the battery, the speed, what assistance level you are in, and so on. So overall, a perfect display for an e-bike. Moving on to the seat. Even though the seat doesn't look that comfortable when you first look at it, it is actually much more comfortable than I expected. Of course, you can also adjust this in height. You can make it lower or higher, so it can suit your riding style, but overall it is a fairly comfortable seat as well. As I mentioned earlier, this bike is completely street legal. So we have that 250 watt motor and a top speed of 25 kilometers an hour. So anywhere in the EU, this is street legal. And typically when you talk about an e-bike that has a 250 watt motor, you don't really expect that it will have that much power. Well, I was actually surprised by how well this actually does whenever you are riding uphill, because obviously we only have a 250 watt motor. So going uphill, you don't really have to put that much effort in. It does go really, really well, way better than I ever imagined. So I absolutely love riding this bike in town. There is also an app that works with this bike. So the app is called Engwe, and you can find the app free of charge in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Once you install the app, you can pair the bike to your phone. So once the bike is paired to your phone, you can basically keep track of where the bike is. So inside the bike, we actually have a GPS unit, and you can actually find the bike through the app. From the app there, you can also track your rides if you want. You can see how many kilometers the bike has, the battery percentage. You can turn it on or off, and you can also set the bike to send you notifications if someone moves it. So definitely handy having this app, and of course that GPS unit inside the bike, because this way you're not gonna lose the bike that easily. You can also ring a bell from the app in case you, I don't know, misplace your bike or something like that. So having that bike and that GPS unit inside the bike is definitely very useful. And with that being said, let me take you for a quick ride in town, just so you can see how easy it is to ride the bike, how the assistance levels work, how the braking works on the bike. So let me take you for a quick ride. Alright, so let me quickly show you how easy it is riding this bike. So we have our power button right here. You hold this press for about 3 seconds or so, and then the screen comes on. From here you can change assistance levels. For this test we're gonna do assistance level 5. So the bike is equipped with a torque sensor. Basically, as soon as you start pedaling, as soon as you push on that pedal, the bike will give you as much power as you are asking. So we have a bit of a hill right here, but that's not a problem with this bike. Even though it only has a 250 watt motor, it is actually quite powerful. So you just push the pedal and off we go. It is also quite quiet, so you're not gonna hear much whenever you're riding. So around here where I'm riding right now, it's not totally smooth. So a regular bike would make a bit more noise than this one, but this one is extremely quiet. So our hill continues. So basically, the more you push on the pedal, the more power the bike will give you. From here, of course, we can shift gears like any other bike. We can also upshift and downshift, and we'll go this way for a bit. We'll do a brake test somewhere around here. So if you want, you can definitely lock that rear wheel, and we'll continue this way. Even though we don't have a front or rear suspension, the bike is also fairly comfortable as well. So not that bumpy, even though this is not the greatest road to ride the bike. I love the black color they have for this road right here. So yeah, that easy riding this bike, very quiet, very sensible, and it gives you power as soon as you push on those pedals. So I really like that about this bike, and also the fact that it is fairly quiet. Alright, so to quickly conclude this video, the Engwe MapFour N1 is a beautiful looking bike. It does look absolutely stunning. I love the fact that the frame is made out of carbon fiber. It is a very well built bike as well. And we have to talk about the weight, because most e-bikes out there are extremely heavy. Well, that's not the case with this one. So this one is nice and light. You can easily take this anywhere. So I kind of wish that more e-bikes would be as light as this one, because it does make things much easier when you have to carry the bike. The bike does ride really well. That torque sensor works really well. It doesn't make any noise whenever you're riding. The braking power on it is great. Overall, I don't really have anything bad to say about this bike. And the price of it is also quite good as well. So if you're looking for a new bike, definitely consider this one. As always, there will be some links in the video's description so you can check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.